want to pay for other people's health care. My brother in Christ, that's what insurance is. That's what it is. You pay money for other people's health care. That's how insurance works. Oh my God.
Okay, the American healthcare system is fucked up. And I don't know what to do about this. And I need you guys to help me make this make sense, because this does not make any sense in my brain space. And I'm going to tell you about it, okay? Okay. So at the beginning of this year, I, along with millions of other Americans, lost my Medicaid, which is really extremely shitty. But it happens. And I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do from it. So in order for me to have a private insurance for myself, it is $767 a month, because I have multiple pre-existing conditions, including high blood pressure, asthma, and ADHD. My medicines are not cheap. I have to go to the doctor often, and I have several specialists that I go to see. So that brings my price up quite a bit more than what, you know, your average normally healthy person would. So for this entire year, I have not had health insurance, which has been terrible. And some of my medicines are affordable, like my antidepressants, which are like $60 for a 3-month supply, along with my high blood pressure medicine, which is like $100 for a 3-month supply. Those are not terrible. Those are affordable. And that's fine. Now, my issue that I'm running into is where first my ADHD medicine and second my inhaler. Now, my ADHD medicine's like $400 a month. So I just have not been taking that, which it sucks, but it's survivable without, you know, being on pills. I don't need to worry about that. However, my inhaler by itself is almost $300 a month. That's $287 a month. Now, GoodRx has coupons for it, which brings it down to $221 a month. That's not great, but it's a little bit cheaper. So in one of my videos, I was talking about this because I make cleaning videos. So I was talking about my inhaler and the things going on with it. And everybody was suggesting to me to go online and get the manufacturer's coupons. I'm like, that's great. I can go online and look for manufacturer's coupons. So my inhaler is a Symbicort inhaler. Now, generally I get the Breyna because the Breyna is the off-brand of Symbicort, and it is generally cheaper than the Symbicort. And so my first thing was I went on to Breyna's website to look for a manufacturer's coupon. Breyna will not allow you to use a manufacturer's coupon unless you already have insurance. So I go to Symbicort's website. It directs me to AstraZeneca, which shows I put in all of my information and everything. I plug it in, whatever. And
This healthcare system is insane. I just want to start this off by saying that I have really good insurance under my parents' names. And I had to go to the ER in November for a cluster headache that was on day 2 that would not cease after migraine medication, everything that I could take and think of. So I had to go to the ER to make the pain stop because I literally couldn't do anything without shooting pain. Anyways, for the one visit, $34,000. $28,000 is not covered. My mom goes, well, when you go to the ER, did you check that they were in network? And I said, it's the same building where I go to my other doctors. I figured it would be in network. She goes, no, Lindsay, sometimes if the ER doctors are not in network, you have to check for the individual doctors. I'm like, Mom, it's the ER. You think I don't check that before I go? I just...
Oh, tariffs are a tax on consumers. But what do you say about the workers in America that have lost their jobs? Millions and millions of jobs that have left this country. If you think this is going to change in a year, then you're wrong. We need policy that's brave and courageous, and that's what we're seeing with Trump.
I mean, the main argument is that look at all the things that Trump promised. He promised that he would make us not pay taxes. He promised us that we would have gas prices, national average, less than $2 a gallon. And he promised that he would cut our energy bills in half within a year. It's a year. We don't have any of that. Our energy bills are up 11%. Meanwhile, we see the wealthiest 1% of Americans getting about $1 trillion worth of tax cuts with a big rip-off bill. I would say that's very clear that he's more focused on the wealthiest people in our country.
I think that the argument that I would make, and I think it's a structural one, is that we've got, for the last 30 years, globalism has dulled our strategic thinking. And if we want real change, it's not going to happen, not in a year. It's going to be a strong break, and that's just beginning.
But he said it.
What we've seen, and I think that's just part of the issue with a lot of Democrats, is a hyper fixation on consumers, on the products. But what we've lost is labor. And I think you, as a Democrat, should understand this.
I didn't know that it was a bad thing to be concerned about prices.
Under Joe Biden,
I didn't know
we
that was
had
a bad thing.
50 to 60% increase of border crossings. The illegal immigrant population, you can fact check me on this, Jubilee, but I think it almost doubled. It's like 10 million people came into this country. That affects working class Americans. Democrats don't care about this policy. The reality is that Democrats will be, oh, tariffs are a tax on consumers. But what do you say about the workers in America that have lost their jobs? Millions and millions of jobs that have left this country. If you think this is going to change in a year, then you're wrong. We need policy that's brave and courageous, and that's what we're seeing with Trump.
First off, the unemployment rate is higher since Trump has taken office. So
the unemployment rate has not
I don't really know what you're talking about.
This last quarter, we had a 4% increase.
I think that we should
inflation
on the fact
increased
that
much more than the last year's Biden administration.
That it was controversial.
When Trump got elected the first time, and the economy went up. When Trump got elected the first time, and the economy went really well, you guys said, oh, it's because he's benefiting from the Obama economy. But now that it's the first year and the economy is starting to lift up, you guys
starting to lift up.
You guys don't say the same thing.
Isn't inflation going up? What are you talking about?
Well, y'all, another hospital is closing down their labor and delivery unit. Makes a third this year. Yeah. And that brings Arkansas up to 51 counties in the state without a local hospital where a baby can be delivered. We only have 75 counties, y'all, and 51 of them don't have a labor and delivery unit. So this seems like a timely reminder that while Sarah Huckabee Sanders is on her annual European trade mission, living it up on the taxpayer dime, Arkansas still remains the most unsafe place in America to be pregnant, to have a baby. That's right. Yes, Arkansas has the highest rate of maternal mortality in the entire country, and it is also the only state that has not extended postpartum Medicaid coverage to 12 months. Even after a young woman walked into the Arkansas River with her baby, Sarah is still single-handedly stopping Medicaid expansion for postpartum mothers here in Arkansas. I mean, even Republican state legislators have pushed for this, y'all. It's honestly, everybody wants this. It's bipartisan, and a legislative push isn't even really necessary right now, okay? They don't have to wait until the next legislative session in 2027. The Department of Health could expand pregnancy Medicaid right now through an administrative waiver, but Her Majesty the Governor has to sign off on it, and she absolutely refuses. So I want you to remember that in the most pro-life state in America, women will die from preventable medical complications, while Sarah is out here bragging about her really important accomplishments, like protecting youth sports from literally zero.
Republicans really don't have any principles. It's essentially whatever Trump said last. They talk nonstop about cutting costs, fighting inflation, until Trump pushes policies like sweeping tariffs that raise prices on everyday goods. A tariff is still paid by all of us. But you MAGA turds still think that it's being paid by China or other countries. Like they claim to have or care about fiscal responsibility until Trump adds $1 trillion to the deficit or floats a new freaking spending idea with no plan to pay it back or pay for it. All of a sudden, all worries, all concerns just fucking disappear overnight. I love it when the Republican politicians say like, oh, let's support American workers, until Trump backs some policies that undercuts labor protection or side with the corporation like all the time. Then suddenly we need to see the bigger picture. Everything that's going bad in the country, it's the Democrats' fault. It's Biden's fault. It's Obama's fault. Oh yeah, recently he came back with the deep state. Anyone but him and his people. When Trump flips on an issue, everybody flips, bro. Like, it's so fucking weird. These people have no backbone.
Transgender athletes.
That's why Arkansas got men out of women's sports.
Have the day you voted.
In case anyone is curious at how fucked up the United States medical system is, I just got an estimate for my 9-year-old's tonsil and adenoid surgery in July. Tell me why. Tell me why a 20-minute surgery, that's how long they said it would take, 20-minute surgery, to remove my 9-year-old's tonsils and adenoids is estimated to cost $108,447.46.
If you ask people what their biggest worries are right now, many of them would say the high cost of living. Affordability is one of the top issues concerning working individuals and families, and those high costs didn't just come about arbitrarily or from normal inflation. They're a clear result of the Republican tax law passed last summer, the one Derek Van Orden, Glenn Grothman, and their Republican colleagues in Congress celebrated passing. Now, 1 year later, we're seeing the direct impact of their votes. The GOP tax law includes $1 trillion in cuts to Medicaid over the next 10 years, as well as the expiration of enhanced ACA tax subsidies, which led to huge insurance premium increases many individuals simply couldn't afford. The funding for SNAP, our nutrition assistance program, was also cut by $187 billion. This has led to significant decrease in the number of Wisconsinites who are already struggling to afford grocery bills and school lunches. Over 14,000 Wisconsinites have already lost Medicaid coverage since last June, and over 22,000 fewer people have enrolled via ACA Marketplace, and it's only going to continue. Those cuts to Medicaid and SNAP didn't benefit us in other ways, like reducing debt or lowering taxes. Those trillions of dollars just provided tax cuts to billionaires and big corporations. Meanwhile, it's harder than ever for the people of Wisconsin to pay their bills and buy groceries. Many families are one big health event, one accident or illness away from significant financial hardship because of the cost of healthcare, even if they have health.
So it was reported today that Vivek Ramaswamy is talking about cutting unauthorized spending. Unauthorized spending is spending that the government does, but has not authorized it, or their authorization has ran out. One of those things was a bill that authorized spending back in 1996, I believe, for veterans' health care. $120 billion is going towards veterans' health care. Another one of those things is the Head Start program for people with lower income that can have their kids in preschool or after-school care that's provided by the government. Money that's provided by the government runs this whole program. So my question is, you have kids, you're low income. You voted against your kids being able to have education. I mean, you already know they want to blow up the whole Department of Education. You're a veteran. You voted for Trump. That I'll never understand, because he's never been on the side of our military. If anything, he's been against them. So if you voted MAGA, because it's MAGA, you're going to lose both of those things, and you deserve it. If you didn't, I'm so sorry that these people brought you down with them.
I have a new bingo card item. I think that when people figure out that their health insurance is gone and we watch these jobs plummet, because remember, right now we're at the very start of it. This was the warm up. When it sets in truly and people lose their health care, I think the backlash is going to be so astronomical. I think it's going to be our shot at universal health care. Everyone talks about the pendulum swinging back, and that is a thing. Think about it. Think about all the people that are about to lose their health care. Think about all the people who are about to realize how tied in to the job that their health care is. And especially with us discovering where our taxes are going and whose health care we've been paying for universal, a lot of Americans that before have always been against it are now asking, well, why can't I have universal health care? So yeah, my new bingo card item before 2023 even, I think we're going to see a true universal health care plan hit Congress floor. It may not be voted approved. It may take a while, because they just be fighting over bullshit. I think the backlash could be so swift though, because it's not gonna be nice swiftness. It's not gonna be peaceful. We say what you want. Like, they're the ones promoting it. I'm saying stay peaceful.
So Trump just put on new tariffs yesterday, and I want you guys to understand that this is quite literally the heist of the century. When Trump put these big tariffs on the first time, companies went and raised our prices as a result to cover for the extra price that goods cost them. Now, eventually, this was struck down by the Supreme Court, and all the companies that went and raised our prices got refund checks for the extra amount they paid for tariffs. Even though they had already raised our prices, they got a check back. But you know who didn't get a check? You went to the grocery store and paid more, but did you get a check back for the extra cost of the tariffs? Absolutely not. It was basically a free check to these companies, an excuse to raise your prices while they get that amount back on the back end. And so now that same scam is happening again. Trump put new tariffs in place, companies will raise your prices, and then when the courts go and strike the new tariffs down as illegal, they will get refund checks for all of this stuff. It is a transfer of your money to the richest companies on earth, and it's a racket that they can do over and over and over again. Call it for what it is, the heist of the century, honestly, the greatest robbery ever perpetuated across the American people. It's absolutely absurd.
He says gas is still cheaper than 2022 Democrats in power. Well, let's look at the information. When Biden left office, the day he left office, according to the internet, it was $3.11 a gallon. July 25th, according to the internet, gas is $4.11 average per gallon of regular gas. 37% increase in gas prices from Biden to Trump. Please fact check me. In addition, it's going to get much worse because the Iran war is full-scale escalation. Make sure you get gas today. It will be going up. And also, when gas prices go up, so does food, clothing, and everything else. Don't forget, we also now have tariffs again that Trump has imposed, even though the Supreme Court, the law of our land, said it's illegal. Why should a president listen to the law of the United States, right? I mean, silly me. But anyways, I digress. He's just put tariffs on everything. So now prices are going to go up. The U.S. importers will pay the tariff. They'll pass the cost on to you. They will eventually get a refund like they're getting now. You would have paid 90% of the tariffs, so get ready for sky-high inflation, sky-high gas prices. And let me just remind you, we had a pandemic when Trump left office, and Biden got inflation down. It was 2.9%. Now it's 4.2%. So comparing Biden, who had to deal with a 100-year worldwide pandemic, to a president who has on his own put on tariffs, on his own attacked another country, on his own who has bad economic policy because he's gone bankrupt 6 times, is really like comparing apples with oranges. Do you agree? Hi, my name's Christina. I have a master's degree in business, a degree in accounting. This guy probably went to high school 50 years ago. But please, I always ask everyone to verify information is readily available, and follow me for more economic news.
Hey there, I'm here for my insulin refill.
Sure thing. That'll be $1,278.
You're joking, right?
Nope. Medicare no longer covers this under the new privatized voucher plan. You voted red, right?
Well, yeah, but I didn't think they'd come for me. I thought we were saving money.
You did, by transferring your healthcare costs directly to you.
But I need this. I've been a diabetic for 25 years.
And the free market thanks you for your loyalty. Would you like to open up a payment plan for 17.9% APR?
That's insane.
Well, you better start rationing. It's what your politician said builds character.
That was what I had to do, go to the emergency room and pay the bill somehow, some way.
Wait, how do you have health insurance?
How do I have health insurance?
Yeah.
I pay for it.
So is it through your employer?
Through the state. I'm also on Medicare.
The Trump administration wants to defund it. Yes.
Right. I don't believe it. There's no evidence of that.
Well, he did it already. The big beautiful bill defunds Medicare.
Oh, really? That's why I'm still on Medicare.
Yeah. It's gonna defund it after the midterms.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see when that happens. Because I'm still paying for the service. It's not free.
I'm aware. I mean, but
they
yeah.
take it out of your Social Security check.
I want you to get Medicare. I want people to get Medicaid. I want you to be able to live in dignity for the rest of your life. And the Trump administration is actively trying to defund the things that you need to live.
I don't believe that.
And it's going to kick in after the midterms.
I don't I don't buy that, and we'll see what happens. You're looking into the crystal ball.
I'm
You're
gonna
looking into your crystal
I'm gonna
ball.
put like a little blurb right here showing what the big beautiful bill defunds. Basically, it's gonna go right here.
Right.
So, it's
So
gonna
you
go
can
right
prove
there.
that I'm ignorant.
Yeah,
But that's
yeah, it's gonna
okay.
go right there.
I don't believe you. I don't buy it. I know you're a left-wing liberal, and a lot of things you say are kind of like, slanted.
How about this? We see each other at MAGA events repeatedly. Can you make a commitment that you're going to look that up?
I certainly will.
Once you've looked that up, you can come back to me the next time you see me.
Yes.
And you can say, hey, I looked it up. Let's go over the nuances of that, right? And then we can have a proper discussion on that.
All right.
Thank you.
Walter, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So I'm finding out that Trump supporters are upset because they're about to lose their health care and their insurance, and their children that are under the age of 26 are about to be kicked off because they voted to repeal the Affordable Health Care Act. And they didn't even realize that they were doing this. And I'm going to pretend that they're not racist and
crisis soar across America as the Trump administration overnight announced that it is ending what is called Medicare Part D subsidies. These subsidies will officially expire at the end of 2026 and will not be available to the millions of seniors who rely on the subsidies to keep prescription costs lower heading into 2027.
Right? People are going to think I'm fear-mongering, but this is all a money grab and cruelty to be cruel. Okay, hear me out. There are two things that people aren't talking about when they're talking about the subsidies ending that they should be. One is the tariffs that start the year after the subsidies end, right? 200% tariff on generics. Medicare Part D forces you to have generics, unless you go through absolute hell to get a brand name, okay? So all the pharmaceutical companies are going to make a fortune. And you say, well, they don't get the tariffs. They will get the tariffs back from us, the taxpayers, again, when the Supreme Court orders the government to pay it back again. We pay it, then they have to pay it back again, right? Number two will be non-compliance, because when these elderly cannot afford the tariffs and can't afford all the jacked up prices, right? They're going to go non-compliant. And I don't know if people realize this, that most health insurance has non-compliance clauses in their policies. If you do not pick up your prescriptions, they know. And they have ticked a box that will automatically jack up your premiums the next year. Plus, they'll also kick in AI to start denying healthcare visits, all kinds of healthcare, because you are non-compliant. You didn't pick up your prescription. You are making your health worse. It's all a con, and it's all about cruelty is the point, because if they can get some elderly off of Medicare, it's all the point.
Hello, what's up guys, and welcome back to another video. So in this video I want to quickly share my own opinion on the current situation of the MAGA voters, whereby most of them regret their vote after watching healthcare disappear. Now they are asking what went wrong. So let me quickly share my own opinion. So in my own opinion, nothing changes the way people think about politics faster than a personal crisis. So during election section, people argue about immigration, taxes, foreign policy, and political parties. But when someone gets sick, loses health coverage, or struggles to pay for medicine, politics suddenly becomes very personal. That is why I think healthcare is one of the biggest issues any government has to get right. Many Donald Trump supporters believe that they were voting for a stronger economy, lower costs, and a better future for their families. So they trusted that their lives would become more secure, not more uncertain. But now, some voters are asking difficult questions about healthcare and whether they made the right choice. Now, let me quickly ask you a single question before I move on. If your healthcare become more expensive after an election, would that be enough to change the way you vote next time? So let me know that in the comment section below. Personally, I don't think people vote expecting to lose access to healthcare. People vote because they believe life will surely improve. They believe they will have more opportunities. They believe they will have more security. and fewer worries about the future. So, when families begin struggling to pay medical bills or worry about keeping their coverage, disappointment is understandable. Now, I also think it is important to be fair. Healthcare in America has been a challenge for decades. No single president created the problem, and no single president has solved it. So maybe Republican and Democrat administration have both struggled with rising medical bill, insurance prices, and the long-term financial challenges facing programs like Medicare and Medicaid. That is simply the reality. But one thing I believe is when politicians campaign on improving people's life, voters naturally expect those improvements to include healthcare, because that is what's good. Because what's good is a stronger economy if ordinary families still can't afford to see a doctor. What good are political victories if retirees are worried about paying for prescription? So to me, those are the questions that really matters. And also, I think politicians sometimes forget that statistics don't always reflect everyday life. A government can say the economy is improving. Experts can point to positive reports. But if families are still choosing between buying medicine and paying rent, many people won't feel things are getting better. And voters don't judge politics by a report. They judge it by personal experience. So that is why healthcare has such a powerful influence on election. So it affects nearly everyone. Young families, retirees, veterans, small business owners, workers. So almost everyone eventually depends on the healthcare system in one way or other. So in my own opinion, the solution is not simply blaming one political party. The solution is demanding better ideas from every party. Americans deserve healthcare that is affordable, reliable, and accessible. They deserve leaders who focus less on political arguments and more on practical solutions. Because illness doesn't ask whether someone voted Republican or Democrat. Medical bills don't care who won the election. Healthcare affects almost everyone. And at the end of the day, I believe voters have every right to question leaders when their daily lives become more difficult. That is not a betrayal. That is what they call accountability. Supporting a politician should never mean giving them a free pass forever. It means expecting them to deliver on the promises that earn your vote. And if they don't, asking tough questions is exactly what responsible citizens should do. So here is my own quickly opinion about this. I'm not supporting Donald Trump, or I'm not against Donald Trump. So I'm trying to share my own opinion on the both sides. So if you like my video, make sure you subscribe to our channel.